It's all fun and games until there's a vicious pen attack. This is Corey, and this is the Anthem podcast.
Good afternoon, everybody. It's Rob. Welcome to episode 180 of the Anthem podcast.
Damn.
180
consecutive weeks, too.
Woo!
Where have you been for the last 180 consecutive weeks?
As always, it is 3:49 p.m. Pacific. That makes it 6:49 p.m. Eastern Time. And the Anthem podcast is live, coming to you from beautiful downtown Los Angeles, California. And from the hashtag OTALA studio, hashtag OTALA studios, high above the 110 freeway. How are you doing this week, Corey?
I'm doing great.
I mean, stumbled in that entry. Yeah. God, man.
I just like to would say, now I'm doing it. It's contagious. I would like to say again for the record, thank you all for sharing. Thank you all for telling friends. Thank you all for commenting in the live stream. It's all things we enjoy.
Absolutely.
And all things we hope you continue.
And if you want to be part of the show, you can, if you're listening to us live, you can comment right there in the chat. We'll be taking questions and comments during the show. And if you're listening to this on Tuesday, you're missing out. Join us on Saturday, each Saturday, where we do a live stream of the podcast. Now, we've typically been doing that on Facebook, but I think in the weeks to come, we're going to be making a switch.
Yeah, so we're looking into the potential of switching over to YouTube for the time being. Mm-hmm. And the reason for this is that we're looking at using OBS, which is a live streaming service.
Yes. We've been trying to implement OBS for weeks now, and it has just not worked out with Facebook for whatever reason. The two systems don't work very well with each other. We've talked about maybe getting on Twitch a little bit, and using OBS will let us stream to multiple platforms at the same time. So Twitch and YouTube, and we would be able to go on Periscope at the same time. So these being able to go to all the multiple platforms all at once obviously helps us broaden the platform that people can see the podcast on. So I think starting next week, you'll be able to find us at youtube.com/ODAnthem. The live stream will be there, so you'll be able to watch, and we'll have hopefully a little bit more production value. That's what I'm looking forward to.
Yeah.
The ability of OBS to have production value.
Really, that's what we've been working on with OBS, is trying to liven it up a little bit with some extra goodies. So,
and we should still be able to have live comments. I've been trying to work with these third-party chats that you can join the chat and you can still comment. Of course, you can always send in a text message or a call to the listener line 443-219-7595.
443-219-7595.
That's right. So look for us next week on YouTube. And of course, this and every episode is available at youtube.com/ODAnthem, where you can find the video of the podcast. This week, I've been doing something interesting. I've been going back and radio checking old podcasts.
Yeah.
And my first comment was that the quality has changed so much since we've started. But my second comment was, oh my gosh, the positions and the thoughts of the podcast in 3 years have changed so very much.
Give me some examples.
So Corey was a climate change denier in episode 6.
I still haven't listened to that. I have to imagine that I was kidding.
No, I don't think you were kidding at all. And this is why
I think my sarcasm is so wry you can't even tell when I'm.
This is one reason why you need to be following us on social media. So at Robert and Cheek, at LegendCB5, and of course at Anthem. So you can follow us on social media during the week. When I found that clip, I said, oh my gosh, this needs to be shared with the world. And I immediately shared it with everyone. But at 1 hour and 20 minutes and 22 seconds, we started a discussion in episode 6 of climate change. And Corey basically says, the scientists agree, but maybe the scientists are wrong. So very interesting. But
I'm gonna have to re-listen to this and figure it out, because I don't imagine.
So if you want to join me in listening along, I've listened to episodes 1 through 6 thus far, and I'm going to be listening to every single episode along the way. I'll be making commentary on social media, obviously. So if you want to listen along with me, you can join, and we can talk about the old episodes. And maybe we should come up with a hashtag for that. Maybe you guys should check in again on Twitter and look for the
OTA flashback.
Yeah, maybe hashtag OTA flashback, and we can comment about the old episodes and catch up on 180 episodes that have gone on over the last 3.5 years.
Though if we do make it hashtag OTA flashback, then people will start thinking that Flash is going to be on the show again.
Oh, no. Maybe she'll just have to fly out here to Los Angeles and be on the show with us.
You're always welcome on this side of the coast.
But it has been an interesting week in the Alliance, if you will. We have had just the week of all weeks. Not for the typical reasons, though.
No. Let's start with what I'm sure everyone's tuning in to hear us talk about.
Okay. Yes. The ranting of a crazy person on Monday.
The videos were quite crazy.
Yeah.
So we were out on the balcony smoking, as we do, high above the 110 freeway, and Rob says, "What the fuck is that?" And
Now,
I turn.
I initially said it as a joke because there was a light in the sky, and I thought I could make Corey freak out a little bit. And so he turned and looked.
Yeah. And you can find the videos at Oh the Anthem YouTube, youtube.com/Oh the Anthem. But a string of lights in the horizon, what it looked over Dodger Stadium.
Yes.
But
above the mountains.
Yeah.
So it wasn't on the mountains themselves. It was in the sky. We've done very
above
much
where the
empirical
mountain
research.
line would be.
Yes.
Yeah. So we're like, wow, that's really weird. What is that? And then all of a sudden, all of them switch position.
Yeah.
And go, like, the one that was all the way on the far left goes all the way to the far right, and the far right goes all the way to the far left. And we're like, what the fuck is this? Like, that was a way too well coordinated of a move.
Yeah.
Anywho,
and so we pull out the phones.
we pull out the phones, we start recording.
And we're joking about what this is. And then, by the way, I've found out that I would be the worst in recording something emergency because the line of lights suddenly shifts up into a circle, and I immediately freak out and stop recording for some reason. I don't know why.
Well, the other thing is, too, that, like, it was close enough that you could see it well with your naked eye.
Yeah.
But when you're trying to get it on the phone and you're like zoomed in all the way to get the best, like you're
wobbling and shaking.
This just looks crazy.
Yeah.
Like when you're trying to hold it still. And if you go like just a little bit in either direction, you're off of it.
Yeah.
So
But the lights formed a circle, and then they formed a square, and then went back to a circle.
and then they started rotating and changing colors,
It was
and
crazy.
everything was perfectly like spaced between one another.
And then all of a sudden, as if all at once, lights out, and they were gone.
Yeah.
And so we came in, and Rob recorded what sounded like a UFO survivalist story of
I came in and asked, should we stay here?
Corey's first experience with anything unknown, and he immediately wants to go running for the hills, which would have been ironic because it's directly in the direction of the lights. Why would you want to do that?
There's other hills.
But so we went outside, and we were kind of downtrodden because, it was over. And then all of a sudden, boom, they're back again.
Yeah.
And didn't think it was going to happen again, but here they are, and we start recording again a second time.
Yeah.
And again, lights dancing, perfectly in tune. And we start trying to debunk it during the second lights. And the one thing that we heard most from people this week was, well, it had to be drones.
That we said ourselves.
Yeah.
Drones.
Had to be drones. But these things were they were perfectly spaced. There was no way that drone drivers could have kept these drones in the perfect circle.
We were under the impression, we have since learned otherwise, that we figured that these drones had to be piloted, and that it wouldn't make sense for these drones to move so perfectly, like they were created to move this way.
Right.
Later, we find out that drones can be programmed and then go to specific like geo points.
Well, specially made drones.
Yeah.
By the Intel Corporation, which are very expensive, can be made to do that.
Yes.
I still don't think that's what we saw.
Okay.
So this is where we're going to differ now.
Yeah.
So nonetheless, we saw the second one. They blink out again. We get all set up. They have the good camera outside. We're going to record it. And then hours pass and there's nothing else. But right before bed, right before it's time to bail out, they've come back a third time.
Now, here's what kind of freaked me out. I saw one light ahead of the rest.
Yeah.
And just rise straight up, like evenly.
Right.
And I was like, well, that's a drone.
Yes.
I know a drone when I see one.
Right.
And then when the rest of the lights came in, it looked like they were swooping in from way in the distance and coming into where the one drone was.
It sounds stupid, but it was like you were going into warp speed. Like stars coming from the distance, and then like if you're stopping at warp speed. Like,
yeah. I mean, it kind of reminded me of like when you see like an alien movie where they like just like start where it's like we're safe now, and then all of a sudden you see like a couple warships like coming in. It's like they're all just like seeding in from the distance.
Yeah.
But
points of light. There was no big
and
shit
way
that we
more
saw.
than there were before.
Yeah.
I have since counted. There was like a dozen of them the third time.
Yeah.
But there was less than a dozen
The first couple of times.
First couple times.
But they start making geometric shapes. Did you go back and see the geometric shapes?
No.
So there was triangles and squares and circles, and they were in these little packs, and then they would shift around and change into different shapes, and it was absolutely crazy. Now, I still can't explain what we saw. I called them a UFO because they were unidentified flying objects.
Yeah,
I'm not saying that there was anything other than that.
That's why I was standing with that logic.
Yeah. Now, in the week since then, apparently, Wonder Woman DVD is out on is coming out on DVD, and that they did some huge video thing later in the week, and they used
drones.
Yeah. But have you seen the video of it?
Yeah.
It looks completely different than what we saw.
Yeah.
The lights are smaller. They're like little pinpricks of light, and they're made like there's 100 of them to make them look like all of these shapes. What we saw was big lights making very clear but simple geometric shapes. It was super weird. I can't explain it. Corey's listening to it live right here.
I'm pulling it up real quick.
Yeah. So go down to the show notes. If you're listening to this on Tuesday, you'll be able to see it. So Flash has a comment from the chat here. She says, "You guys sound like the dude on the History Channel with the crazy hair. I get that weed is legal. Maybe put down the bong." Okay. First of all, there had been no imbibing. This is a weekday, and I don't imbibe on weekdays at all. Secondly, I'm not saying that it's aliens. I'm saying that something happened that we can't explain. And in a city of 8 million people, we can only identify 4 people who saw this. But we all saw it from different angles, and we all saw the same thing.
By the way, Twitter was... here's the thing. If you're going to fly drones over the sky of LA in like a coordinated effort like this, I feel like there needs to be... there was going to be fireworks in Baltimore for some reason on like an unusual day.
Star Spangled Spectacular?
No, it was something else. It was like
ago, so.
It was like there's gonna be a massive fireworks display this random Wednesday in
and you have to let everybody know.
in August. And they specific I remember getting like a postcard in the mail saying like the city of Baltimore would like to let you know that there will be fireworks on August 14th and don't be alarmed. And I'm just like, oh, okay. Good to know, I guess.
Right.
There was no like there was no like I looked at the FAA, right. I looked at the city of Los Angeles, right. I looked at like all these other Twitter accounts that might like peek into what I looked at the Dodgers just to see if they were just like working on something fun.
Yeah. But more importantly, what we learned is if you have more than 10 drones, you have to file clearance with the FAA in order to do it. So going to the FAA is the one where you're like, if you're seeing something in the sky, this was permit number 171577, and it's all been cleared, it's all good. None of that happened. So what we're left with is our own imaginations about what happened, and 4 or 5 people in a city of 8 million who saw what we saw, and who all are very confused.
And conspiracy Twitter was out in full force.
We saw the Los Angeles conspiracy Twitter aflutter on that night. But so the next night,
it's like Black Twitter. Only the only thing they say is, "What the fuck is that?"
Yeah. And by the way, I have to say, remarkably conservative. There was so many people who were trying to debunk it.
Yeah.
But like you can tell that they want it to be something, but they're like, "Okay, guys, wait, let's be calm. What could this be? Could it be drones?" Well, the lights are really big, and they were moving too coordinated for like drone drivers to actually do that. Okay, so it's not drones. Could it be fireworks? Well, no, because it wasn't like an explosion. It was
just sitting in the sky.
Yeah. So they're very conservative. So I know how crazy we probably sound, and it is what it is. But we saw something, and it was your first experience seeing anything like that.
Yeah.
So how do you feel after seeing that?
I mean, like, seeing the Wonder Woman stuff later on makes me feel a lot like, well, they were just testing some shit. Okay. But the fact that there was no notice.
Right.
Or I couldn't find, like, I go to, like,
no mention of it at all.
No, nothing. Like,
no, like, after the fact. Like, hey, if you saw this thing on Monday, it wasn't aliens. It was...
Or just, like, it... if I would have during the Monday practice, I guess, which is what we were running into. Yeah. If I saw like one Wonder Woman symbol throughout the whole thing,
anything,
I would have been like, oh, okay, so it's just an average. Good, got it. Yeah. But this one felt like way more like, it's so hard to describe unless you're like there in the moment. But it just felt like somebody just sitting there watching.
Yeah.
Does that make any sense? Like it's
me,
not like
it felt like
it didn't feel like an art installation. It felt more like we were being visited, which was what kind of like put my guard up.
Have you ever met someone who doesn't speak any English and you speak a language, you don't speak whatever language they speak?
Yeah.
And you just kind of sit
Swahili.
there. You just sit there and you're just like you want them to know you're friendly.
Yeah, yeah.
That's what it felt like to me. It was like, hey, we're here. We're cool.
Yeah.
What's up?
Well, we also
All right, we gotta go.
We also got into a lot of conversations about what would you do if aliens we see the lights off in the distance, and then if all of a sudden they just all like in light speed just like came up to the side of the balcony and they were just like surrounding the balcony. How would you like physically communicate with the alien beings?
What would you do?
What would you do to let them know that you're safe?
So the first thing I think is you should put your hands up. I mean, just that's the international sign of like, hey, we're all good. But my argument is anything that's advanced enough to travel across the galaxy has probably developed telepathy. So they're reading your thoughts. So all they're getting from me is oh shit, 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 just all kinds of repeat. But then eventually I would just be like, please take me, please take me, take me. But take me. I would like to go with you. I would like to go to there now, please. I have no fear at all. I 100% believe that there's other life in the universe, and God, I hope they're visiting us. And please take me away from this horrible, horrible place.
Just take me with you.
I would.
You don't have Trump up there, do you?
I was gonna say there's no Trump on your planet. I would assume not, since you're traveling across the galaxy in what seems like a mission of peace. But no, I've said before, like. If I got super wealthy, the way that I would want to be maintained after death is to have one of my fingers severed and put it in a long distance probe and shot out into the universe. So if at some point an alien civilization stumbles upon Voyager 7 or whatever we call that probe, they find my bits of DNA in that and they reconstruct me from my DNA, and then some part of me gets to be the ambassador from Earth, first contact with this alien race.
Right.
And, if all of the crystal and sage people are right, all of my memories are contained in that DNA. So I would just pop back forth with consciousness. And all the
just
memories.
be like, hello, I am Rob.
Make me your king.
My move, by the way, and I think this is the best one.
Yeah.
I haven't heard a better idea. Is Curtsy, because the bow seems a little still a little threatening. If you don't know what it is, you're coming towards them.
Yeah.
But the curtsy is like you get to show your hands. Yeah. So that's one thing. You get to show there's nothing in my hands. And then the little bow-ish,
if you curtsy at a cop, he's going to shoot you, though. Because it looks like you're reaching for something.
He's going for a gun.
Yeah. You're dead.
He was just curtsying. Why does a man curtsy?
Yeah.
So, that doesn't make any sense.
We're hoping that the lights return. And listen, this is going to be broadcast across the interwebs and into deep space. Maybe it'll be recorded at the Library of Congress. If in some future generation those aliens make contact, you heard it here first.
Yeah.
We saw them. We welcomed you.
And if they just happen to be doing Wonder Woman lights, just to make themselves hey, we heard this movie was really popular. We're just going to put a Wonder Woman signal in.
There was
good
no
on
W.
them. Good on them. That's great.
Yeah, but there was no W. There was no W at all. There was just circles.
Not
and
when we
shapes.
saw it, but apparently there was on Tuesday when we were going to see it.
Right. Yes. So was it Tuesday? Was it? I thought it was Wednesday.
Well, I think I got Twitter. So the great thing about becoming a UFO conspiracy theorist on Twitter is that as soon as you say it out, as soon as you start going down that road, everybody starts tagging you and things, going like, "Hey, Legend CB5, other people have seen what you've seen this night too." I'm just I come out of it and I look at Twitter and it's 27 mentions. I'm like, oh.
Yeah, but the ones on Tuesday were other videos that people had recorded.
Right.
I feel like later in the week was Wonder Woman, but on Tuesday we did go and see it, which I was more terrified by this version than I was by the original.
Yeah.
And we were having a discussion on the way home about how the original scared me because when I saw it, I was probably 10, maybe less than that, 7 or 8. Mm-hmm. And the jumpiness and, when you're little, just the darkness and the jumpiness. There was a buildup of psychological horror in this that really just got to you. And there were moments where my heart was just racing. And then oh...
Here's the number one thing. I never found Pennywise to be that scary.
Right.
In the original iteration.
Yes.
Like he was very, very friendly clown looking.
Tim Curry, though. Tim Curry brought something like mischievous to it, but not horror.
I get it, but I'm saying the new Pennywise is very, very disturbing. The teeth alone. The teeth alone. Just like looking at it is like, hi. You want to come down here? We all float down here. Like,
oh my God.
It was so good. So perfectly done.
And it's not a spoiler to say it's something like opening the fridge and having him do the like ring girl walk out of the like even that I was just like oh my god like you couldn't have done that in 1990
right
and part of the terror I think was the things
the thing like when he's dancing at the end like and the head looks like it's sustained perfectly still.
Oh my god,
all those special effects that aren't even in today's age that difficult,
right?
Like
they couldn't have done it in 1990 though,
right but I'm saying, like, you know, back in the 90s, if you go like, yeah, I want New York to explode, it's just like, oh God, how do we?
We're gonna have to build a miniature.
We're gonna have to build a miniature New York and then explode it, I guess.
Yeah,
and then
better build 3 or 4 of them just because.
But now they're just like only New York. We can blow up other cities too.
You want to just cover it. So, wait, Flash says it's not a spoiler if the book has been out for 30 years. Yes, Flash, we understand. I don't particularly like Stephen King, so I haven't read much of his literature. But what we're looking at is spoilers of this particular movie.
Right.
Because the movie doesn't follow the book exactly. It doesn't even follow the previous movie exactly.
And if you didn't, if you've never read it, even though, you know, you probably should have, I guess, if you like this sort of thing. But,
if you like Stephen King, I mean, yeah.
I mean, like, I feel like it's one of the first 5 things you should read of Stephen King, I guess.
Yeah.
It's one of the 5 most well-known Stephen King books.
Of his 500 or 600 works. Yeah.
Of his L. Ron Hubbard-like litany of books.
There may be a religion based on Stephen King before we're done with this thing. It's just like, oh, plenty of writing here. Well, let's find something. And the Pennywise will be the devil in that.
Yeah.
And his purgatory will be a locked-in mansion or hotel up in the mountains where it snows and everyone's trapped. And the messenger for the devil will be a car. There's a really interesting religion, I think, in there. But
somebody get Stephen King on the horn.
We can make you L. Ron Hubbard in a minute. But so
bring your corgis and meet me in L.A.
You just want to meet the corgi. Anyway, so what were your overall thoughts, though, about it?
I thought it was very enjoyable.
Yeah.
It's not like... we've had this discussion before about movies that aren't necessarily like good, but thoroughly enjoyable.
Yeah.
Like, this movie isn't anything special. It's not Citizen Kane, but certainly go see it because it's fun. It's a lot of...
Going back to the Fast and Furious argument, you know what you're getting into when you go in.
Yeah.
You're not going to get an Oscar winner. Maybe for special effects.
That should probably be your opinion going into any horror movie.
Yeah.
And I don't even know if I would categorize this as like... It's certainly a horror movie, but I don't know if I would...
Laura said, did you guys say corgis? So again, you guys need to join us for the live stream because the comments are entertainment in themselves. Blue, welcome. How are you?
Can't wait to see you in a week.
Yeah, we need to figure out when we're recording next week's episode because this time next week we will be back in Vegas once again.
Yeah.
Oh, gosh. I'm very much looking forward to seeing your family in Vegas. So... it's going to be great to see Laura, and it's good. We're celebrating her birthday, but again, just going back to a few weeks ago, I'm really looking forward to see your dad. Like, your dad is like I'm missing your dad more than I am any other person in Maryland right now, I think. Because I see him, like, not regularly, but just every so often. And it's been enough time that I have not seen him in a while. Yeah. So, you know. Yeah.
Well, it's like I feel like with the sesame chicken that we got today, it was just like, I have like a bloodlust for sesame chicken, like real sesame chicken. Like I feel like I'm withering inside because I haven't had it. Anyway, any horror movie you should go in saying, it's probably not going to be a great film,
right?
But it's going to be an enjoyable experience, and it is no different.
Absolutely.
But definitely go see it because I think it's fun, and I think people are going to be talking about this for a while.
And 2 things. One, Warner Brothers brings it out in 2017.
Finally.
Yeah. After like 7 or 8 years of just not being able to get it together, open the summer with Wonder Woman, close the summer with It, they've done an excellent job this year.
And then they're going to throw it all away on Justice League.
I got
all that
excited.
goodwill.
Every time I see the trailer, I get excited. So you may not like it, but I'm in. I'm all in on Justice League. But another thing, Flash mentioned something in the comments. If you want to see the comments of the live stream, go do it. I'm not going to do it because it's a bit of a trigger warning. I feel like there should be a trigger warning for people going into it. I don't know if you can see. Wait, where is it? This comment here?
Yeah.
Yeah. So there is an underpinning that you sense going in, and there's never really, I don't want to call it a payoff because it's not a payoff, but there's never any clarity about the situation, but it's all but cleared up. And I feel like they danced around that plot point from the book as much as possible. But the entire time I was like, please don't. I sense that that's what it is. Please don't let it be that. Please don't let it be that. And it is absolutely exactly that. So I feel like people going in and not knowing that may upset people. And I did not know that going in. And I feel like that someone should make mention that's a problem.
Let me put it this way. I feel like they took... they changed the influence of adults in this world to fit this movie and to fit this time. For instance, when you saw the mom, I can't remember what kid's mom, the one who's like really protective and one of the kids. Yeah. She doesn't look like a real woman. She looks like sort of like a cartoon character version of a mom.
Right, yeah.
And like wearing like almost like prosthetics to make her look like she's fat and big and like almost like
the body doesn't match the face.
Like when you would have a skinny actor play a fat person on SNL.
Right.
You'd put on like Hans and Franz when you're trying to muscle them up, and it just doesn't look right. It doesn't look authentic.
The head and the hands are the giveaway.
There's the thing about about this movie where adults seem to be played a little bit more cartoonish than the kids are. Like the kids are living in a reality that's separated from the adults, and I think that's kind of how they're getting around that. Yeah. But anywho.
And I'm glad that they did. I think that they took it as far as they really should have.
Yeah.
Glad they didn't go any farther. But what I'll say is now, we really shouldn't say anything more than that. Just be careful. If you know anything about the book, there is some dancing around some plot points from the book. And if you want, go to facebook.com/OD Anthem, and you can check out the chat from the live stream. Flash said not very discreetly, but very directly what it is. So you'll be able to see that. But so let's go back to a couple days before that, because after we recorded last week, but something that still happened this week is we had our first NFL weekend in Los Angeles.
We most certainly did.
And we now know what it's like at the start of the season at the West Wing, where the Ravens fans go.
Yeah.
And it's very different than the end of the season. So once again, for those of you who don't remember from last season, or from the end of last year when we first got here, we talked about going to there's a local bar that is a Ravens bar, and a lot of Ravens fans hang out there. And I forgot what it's like to have to get up at 9 a.m. on a Sunday to go watch football.
Sports in LA sucks.
Yeah.
I guess it's a double-edged sword. I get to watch the Orioles at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and then they're done, and then I can go on about my night.
Oh, and a West Coast swing is at normal time.
Yeah, it's 7 o'clock, and then you don't have to stay up for like some 10 o'clock game. That's all wonderful.
Yeah.
Football. And football has this, like you're done Sunday night football at 8:30.
Yep.
And then you can go out and do things if you want. But
we can go barbecue.
Yeah.
Which is what we did.
Waking up for a 10 a.m. football game is no fun.
Ooh, yeah.
And having to take the subway there to avoid the hour worth of driving around looking for parking.
Or the $15 parking in Hollywood. Yeah.
None of it's fun. But I do like the West Wing. Yeah. And I do like Big Wangs. And
there was probably 10 times more fans this week than there were the last weekend of the season last year.
When things were hopeless and
we thought for sure that even though we're running late, it'll be okay. We're going to miss kickoff, but we'll be fine. And we walk into a bar that is body to body throughout.
Yeah.
and we ended up standing for the entire game. So that was weird. But if you are a Baltimore fan and you're coming out to visit LA, first of all, look us up. Why wouldn't you? We're out here. Second of all, make sure you go to the West Wing or Big Wings in Hollywood, which is where the West Wing hangs out for the Baltimore games. Not looking forward to getting up tomorrow either. Luckily, because I'm preparing for Vegas next weekend, I'm not imbibing at all this weekend, so I won't be hungover. And
you're not even gonna have a couple drinks during the Ravens game?
Nope,
not
no
even
drinks.
just for
giving the liver a break for Vegas next weekend, so I can be in tip-top shape ish for Vegas.
Ish.
So as tip-top as I'm gonna get, I suppose. But yeah, so. We'll see. I'm wondering if it's going to be as packed. I don't know if there was like a bunch of people in town last weekend because Burning Man ended last weekend as well. So maybe there were people in town for Burning Man and they came and watched the game too. But we do need to get there on time. So if Corey doesn't sleep until 9:30, we'll be in tip-top shape. So
you can always just knock on the door and be like, "Why are you fucking up?"
I did say, "Hey, is everybody up?" And Rachel was like, "No." And I was like, all right, well, I guess I'll just hang around then. Anyway, so looking forward to the NFL season and getting in. We did our predictions last week, so make sure you check out last week's episode so you can hear about what our predictions are for the Ravens. Not surprisingly, I guess, looking better than worse based on those predictions. Went into Cincinnati.
Yeah.
Yes, Cincinnati last week and handled business, looking surprisingly good. But
Well,
the
I mean,
defense fucking carried it.
we got up so quick so early that it wasn't really a thing. But
Well, the defense, though. The defense is everything.
Defense was great.
It looks like it's early
CJ
2000s
Mosley
again.
and Terrell Suggs handling things.
And you have the Baltimore defense. So, that worked out well for you.
Yeah.
How's fantasy looking?
For football, fine. I won my first week. I crushed Rachel like a grape. And baseball still to be determined.
We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah. Here's the thing I hate about.
It's a close week.
Here's the thing I hate about fantasy football. Going into week 1, I think we talked about this. I was projected to win very high. I put up 120 points this week in fantasy football. And I lost by 20 points. How is that even possible? This is why I hate fantasy football.
Because you got Kareem Hunt and good.
Yes, I did. So now we're looking at this week, and we'll have to see how things shake out. But if you want to play along with us, of course, make sure you're following on our social media at Robert N. Cheek, at LegendsCB5, and at the Anthem. And we'll be talking about our fantasy football teams all week long, so you can trace that. And, of course, we'll be doing that on our Android devices because why would you ever spend $1,200 on a goddamn Apple phone? That's essentially an Android phone from 5 years ago.
Okay, so we're getting into this. The Apple event was this week, and guys, we have to have a serious sit down talk with all the Apple people. I saw on Twitter. I'm not gonna lie. My face almost exploded when I read this. Somebody said, Apple leading the way again, introducing wireless charging to phones. And I was like, no.
Well, that's somebody who's only had Apple products.
You guys don't seem to understand. There was not a single thing that Apple announced other than Animojis, which hasn't been on an Android phone for bare minimum 3 years.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we don't have animated emojis, I don't think.
No.
Yeah.
Certain
Programs do, but not.
I don't want it. Like,
what's the point?
So essentially what animated emojis, if you didn't see the Apple event, is that you can make like a little cartoon character that follows your face. So if you put your eyebrows up, the eyebrows in the cartoon will go up. And if you're moving your mouth, then the mouth will move. And it's just all facial tracking and stuff like that.
Yeah, which, by the way, don't do that. This is how they're building 3D databases of our faces, and they'll be able to find you in public.
Do you want to get into to your qualm about the...
Okay, well, no. So
iPhone X, iPhone 10.
Let's go through what your thoughts about the phone, and I'll jump in when the particular thing comes up.
Okay, well, real quick, let me back up. They announced 4 things, so we'll go through it real quick.
Sure.
They announced the new Apple Watch, which now has cellular connection, which is great because really, if anything they showed, that was the one I was most impressed with.
Yeah.
Because they showed the head of the Apple Watch team talking to somebody on the Apple Watch team, and she was standing on the middle of a wakeboard in a lake.
Right.
And the only thing that, according to them, the only thing they were using to get her voice from the middle of the lake to the Steve Jobs Theater was the Apple Watch that she had on her wrist. And if that was the case, then tremendous job. That looked amazing.
I doubt that's what it was, but sure, let's
just go with it.
Let's just say.
And yeah, I mean, if you want to have the Apple Watch, I understand why. If you want to have it with the cell phone connection so that you can go running, you don't have to carry your phone with you, that sounds fine as well. I don't know if it's worth the $20 a month in data package that you would have to spend on it.
That's not available on Android. No Samsung device allows you to have cellular coverage from your phone.
Incorrect.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. That was one of the first things that Android Wear introduced. They said you can just buy a Samsung Gear S2 and put the cell phone connection in and make calls like Dick Tracy.
And the only thing that you're really limited by, especially in this first gen, was the battery life. And that's what we were discussing. The first battery life doesn't really allow it. Your generation almost gets you a 24-hour use.
Yeah, I mean, it gets me depending on usage. I mean, like if you're constantly on it, it's going to change.
Yeah.
But like,
by the way, me who had the expanded battery that was like, this will last you 48 hours. And I was barely getting from leaving my house to getting home at the end of the day with the battery. Yeah.
The next thing was the Apple TV 4K.
Right.
Which admittedly has a cool interface and connects all your different things, like your Netflix and your Hulu and Amazon Video and MLB TV and everything.
I'm excited about it because this is their breach into their own content. This is how they're going to present their own content.
They're already working on that.
Right. But that means good things for content producers.
Yeah.
You guys need some content. We got some content. Well, I got a lot of content. Corey's got like a couple things. I have a lot of things ready to go. Contact me.
Here's the thing about the Apple TV 4K, and I'm just gonna burst some bubbles, I guess. If I gave you the money to go buy, let's say it was tax free, just for argument's sake,
MSRP only.
Yeah, let's say you're going to Delaware to buy yourself an Apple 4K TV 4K. You can buy either the Apple TV 4K or you can buy your choice of a Google Home / Amazon Alexa, the Google Chromecast HD, which allows you to do 4K, and what was the other one?
Amazon Fire Stick.
Amazon Fire Stick. And you can either do the Apple TV or all three of those things and save yourself $4 on this side.
Yeah.
That is how fucking expensive this Apple TV 4K is. It's ridiculous.
Right.
That's two.
And if you don't have any other Apple products, it's really hard for the Apple TV to communicate with anything.
Oh yeah, I can't cast to the Apple TV, but anybody, including Rachel with her iPhone, can cast to the Chromecast.
Exactly. Because Google is not open source, but open.
It is open source.
It's not totally open source though.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead. Yeah. I'm not gonna get into that.
Whatever you
say.
say.
Yeah.
Third, the iPhone 8.
Yes.
The new
revolutionary phone.
Right.
Yes.
You got wireless charging.
Brand new.
Yes.
On Apple.
And you have fast charging.
Ooh, brand new.
Yeah.
On Apple.
But unfortunately, you instead of having this 6 years ago, like other people have,
like the G8 or whatever it was.
You're getting it now, and the fast charging only works if you use a USB Type C,
right?
Which means that you need a dongle to connect to your phone to be able to charge it fast.
Yeah.
And the wireless charging is not wireless fast charging.
Right.
So you're using it. The Air Power Pad that they're giving you is a 7.5 watt instead of a 15 watt. So, hypothetically, if this phone actually doesn't have wireless charging, I have no idea why. But if it did, if it was the Samsung Galaxy S8 or something like that, put it on there, you can get 50% battery life in 30 minutes on the wireless. Whereas
faster if you plug it in.
But 30 minutes to 50%. Just putting it on the wireless charger.
Yeah.
The Apple is going to be somewhere in the range of, for 50%, probably like an hour and 20 minutes. Mm-hmm. So,
and I think a smaller battery life, smaller overall.
Always smaller.
Always smaller.
The battery hasn't changed at all from the iPhone 7 to the iPhone 8 what you would need to get a bigger battery, you would need to go to the iPhone 10.
Right.
Which is spelled X, but it's pronounced 10.
Yeah. The 10th anniversary. Originally, the iPhone came out in 2007.
I don't know why they would bother. Like, just make it the iPhone X.
Yeah.
And then you have 10 open for
Later.
your iPhone in 2 years.
Yeah. Yeah.
But who am I?
I would make it the iPhone 10th anniversry, something, not the 10
or like X edition or something like that.
Edition,
yeah,
something. Yeah. But nonetheless, so there are some cool things. The dual cameras, which are still not as good as any camera available on an Android device right now. But the big thing.
I mean, hold on. Let's. I know this sounds a lot like Android fanboy sucking up, though.
It is.
The camera on the iPhone is very good. Mm-hmm. But I do think that just given the fact that you can get an Android phone that is literally whatever you want it to be, you can find a better camera out there.
Right.
So I wouldn't say like any Android phone you could pick up would have a better camera. But I'm saying if you go to the prime players, if you go to the OnePlus 5 or the Pixel or the Galaxy or the Note or anything like that, you're going to get a camera that far exceeds what.
You can get the Moto that has the plug-in on the back where you get an actual, not an optical zoom, an actual physical zoom on it. So, but that, again, is an Android device. So you have to give up something to get that, the whatever the Motorola thing is with the plug-and-play on the back. Where
The Z Play?
Yeah, where you put you can put a speaker on it or a projector on it or the zoom lens or whatever. Like, you give up stuff to get that, but if that's
or the extra battery pack, like that's the one that I thought was cool. Like, I thought about getting that before I got the Pixel, because even though I wouldn't be able to do the interchangeable battery,
right,
I would be able to just take off the back and put on a battery pack and then instantly get the battery. Like, so it's the same thing as turning off your phone and changing the battery, only you just slap a new one on.
And you have a girlfriend, so you could have the multiple backs in her purse.
Right,
like, hey,
and I don't have to actually carry them.
I need the camera. All right, pop it off, pop it on, take a picture, pop it off. Let's get the speaker on there. Here's the projector. She can carry them all in her purse. That's fine. Yeah. But the big deal that everybody was talking about was the, now I don't even need my thumbprint to unlock. I can just hold my face up and whoop, and it unlocks. So here's
by the way, that was also a feature that was on my Galaxy S3.
Yeah, when was that?
7 years ago?
2007? 2010. 2010. I forget what year.
I think so.
Yeah. Okay, so.
Because I got rid of the BlackBerry, and I got the S3.
Right. That would have been right after college. No.
Because I had the BlackBerry when we were at Park Charles.
Okay, so that was 2009.
Yeah, you keep talking and I'll look it up.
So here's the thing. There's a reason that a lot of the Android phones went away from the facial scan, and that's because they found that there was a security problem with it. For instance, I don't know. Now, I'm not...
Released in 2012, by the way.
Okay, so you had it right after. You got it when it was brand new in 2012.
Yeah, so it was 5 years ago, and I had Face Unlock with that.
Right. And now they don't have Face Unlock on the later versions of that phone.
You can still turn it on, but it's not like you still have to enter a PIN if it doesn't if it fears something's not right.
Right. Like I don't know, your eyes are closed and you're like because the girl who you live with is like, I'm about to find out what's on his phone. Yeah. Let me scan him while he's sleeping. Now I don't have any concern about that because I'm single and not worried even if some girl wants to what it is. It is what it is. What do you want, girl? But my concern is...
if you have an iPhone, you're not smart enough to cover your tracks.
You just have messages in there with real names.
Yeah, and everything. You don't have hidden folders. You don't have synced backward. You don't have synced messages on your Gmail and their special. Yeah.
But so my concern is, and the big concern that has been popping up about this is that if you were arrested, that right now, there is no way that anyone can force you to unlock your phone. Now, there is this argument that the judge can give an order and order you to unlock your phone, and that's great. And you could be like, fuck you, I'm not going to do it. I'm already under arrest. What are you going to do?
Yeah.
What are you going to force me to do, right? So, and then they could try to hack your phone and go back to episodes from 2016 where we talked about AT&T and Verizon and Apple giving up passwords to phones and that whole thing. But if you had a Face ID... While you're standing there in cuffs, literally all they would have to do is hold the phone up to your face, boop, And now they're in your phone, and that's it. And then you can't stop them. There's nothing you can do. Maybe it's found to be an illegal search later, but maybe it's not.
Yeah.
And most likely it's not, because all they're doing is using...
And maybe in the meantime, they're arresting all the friends that you bought drugs from.
Yes. Or maybe...
As an example.
Or maybe your accomplices who aren't going to be too happy about whatever you've gotten them involved in. And so it just... And I'm not even concerned about that. I'm not concerned about...
Or they drag your girlfriend in talking about, well, we read all the messages from... your boyfriend talking to Cindy.
Yeah.
It's just like, Cindy?
Yeah.
So it's like, oh, yeah, they got a thing going on. You sure you want to stick up with him?
Right. And then, yeah, because they're going to lie.
Yeah.
And then they're holding the phone, which is unlocked.
Right.
And he's never unlocked it in front of you. And, the whole thing. Anyway, so it's just a lot of nonsense. I'm not even concerned about real criminals. I'm concerned about the slippery slope that this leads to for innocent people having their rights violated. So... if I wasn't going to get an iPhone, I certainly wouldn't get it if I could unlock it with my face. There is no need for it. I get how lazy are we as a society that you can't plug in 4 numbers to get into your fucking phone. I mean, I don't understand. I don't understand.
Also, just the one part so number one, the people who are in the audience for the Apple events work for Apple.
Yes.
About 75% of the people in the room work for Apple. So whenever you hear them say something like with Face ID and they hold it up and they show it on the screen and people like sound like they're losing their shit, it's because it's all people who work for the company who's in that room.
Yeah.
Apple has probably, I mean, I'm just thinking off the top of my head about this, probably one of the worst records for turning over your information when asked. Not when provided with a warrant or when provided with a subpoena, but just requested. They once said on an Apple keynote that the thumbprint for the Touch ID is only kept locally in your phone, and then it was discovered that there is actually a humongous server with everybody's thumbprints in it.
Yeah.
And then today, or at the most recent Apple event, said that there is no server that keeps your face locked in, and that it's only going to be stayed locally on the phone. And I guess that's to be determined, but I can't trust that information because y'all have lied to me before.
Yeah. Yeah.
Also, just again, I have a fingerprint sensor on this. Mm-hmm. It works great. If I go to pay for something with my phone, like use Apple or Android Pay, and I go to put it over the terminal, it says, please credential, put on the thumbprint. Immediately it says good to go, and then goes through. They said, how would you possibly use Apple Pay? Well, you just scan your face and then you use it. Again, things I don't want to do.
Yes.
I mean, like, I'd like to, if I'm here with the phone in my hand ready to pay, boop, I'd like to be able to just boop, instead of having to like, hold on a second, I'm in. There you go.
In your case, wait, let me take the hat off.
Yeah, let me move
adjust the
things.
hair and win. Okay. Or you get a pimple, or you have a black eye because Rachel hits you. I mean, wait, cut that on post.
The S3, by the way, when I used the face unlock for fun, a couple times on it, but stopped using it because of how horribly unreliable it was. It would work half the time. And I don't know if everyone, all the really smart tech people I've heard talk about this go like, well, if Apple's really figured out how to fix this issue, then Face Unlock sounds like a winner. But everyone is skeptical as to whether or not this will actually work. Mm-hmm. And then you don't have a home button to wake up your phone.
Yeah.
You don't have any way of getting into your phone other than the pin after you've stared at your phone like this for 5 minutes trying to get it to unlock.
Doesn't unlock. Yeah.
Like, and again, sometimes there's things that you want to, like, I want to take a picture. Power button twice. There we go. I'm ready.
Yeah.
I'm loaded up in camera mode. If I need to do something really quick, I don't want to put my phone on my face first.
Unlock.
Also, another one, just because we were at the movies this week, people can't sit still for an hour and a half / 2 hours.
Yeah.
So I know for a fucking fact that in the middle of a movie coming up soon, somebody's going to have their big iPhone 10. They're going to hold it up in front of their face.
Yeah.
To unlock it so they can see whatever message they just got. The shit needs to stop. Like, it is.
Well, maybe Alamo will be open before the iPhone 10 comes out.
It's coming out in like October, so.
Can we get the Alamo in LA already?
By the way, just one last thing. One last thought on this. The Google Pixel 2 event is happening on October 4th.
Yes.
Everybody who is thinking about getting an iPhone, just do yourself a favor, tune into the Pixel event or look at coverage of it.
Yeah.
And just see how many things they announce during that event where you're going to go like, oh, good duh. Like,
compare the camera, compare the...
This phone came out a year ago.
Yeah.
I can still, to this day, in 15 minutes, plug this phone in for 15 minutes. I get 8 hours worth of battery.
Yeah.
I can get through my workday with only 15 minutes of battery charge.
Right. So if you forget to put it on the charger right before you leave.
If you like wake up in the morning and you go like, oh shit, I wasn't charging all night. You could plug it in, take a shower, change, get your phone and leave, and you would have enough juice to get through the day.
Yeah.
How many iPhones can do that?
Right.
That's number one. I'm just saying, like, listen to what an actual device sound like.
Revolutionary.
Yeah.
Device.
What revolutionary devices sound like. Anywho.
Well, so going from an audience that is somewhat compliant to an audience that is going to be not compliant because it's about the entire world. LA is getting the Olympic Games.
Yeah.
It's official.
We were going to we wanted to talk about this a couple weeks ago when it was like announced.
Yeah.
But then Trump happened.
There's a lot of Trumpiness going on.
Yeah.
And
now that Trump is actually starting to quiet down a little bit.
Right. Well, not quiet down. He's just starting to agree with the Democrats, so that's shutting up the Republicans.
Yeah.
That's the problem. Yeah. But no, and another
we're going to talk about the fact that the Los Angeles is going to have the Olympics in 2028.
2028. It is, and now another reason to talk about it this week is they officially signed this week. It is official. LA is getting the 2028 games. And when I first saw the whole like competing for 2028, I'm like, man, why are they doing it so far out? Nope. So it's 11 years from now.
Yeah.
It's not that far away at all.
It's 2 Olympic games from now. 2
Olympic games away, yeah. And so
from the one they already have planned.
Right. And so 2020 is up next, right? No.
2024.
No, 28.
Oh, 2020 is the next one.
And that's
then
in
2024. No, 2020 is in Russia.
No, I don't think so. They just had the Sochi games in 2012. Where are the Summer Olympics? Hang on. So we had Summer Olympics in 2000, 2004, 2008, 2012, 2016. Did we just have Olympics last year? Was there
Tokyo.
Olympics last year?
2020 Olympics is Tokyo.
Tokyo.
Yeah.
All right. And then 2024 is going to be Paris because LA and Paris.
You know what I was thinking about? I think Russia has the next World Cup. Not the one in shit. What is the name of that
country?
country?
Who cares
Qatar.
about the World Cup? Yeah.
Not the one in Qatar.
2022 is Qatar, and then after that is
Russia.
Nonetheless, so there were 2 countries competing for the 2024 games: Paris and the United States. LA within the United States. Paris is essentially France because there is no other city in France that can host the games. So they came to an agreement that LA would step back on 2024 if they were awarded the 2028 games.
Yeah.
And if the world community agreed to give $500 million or some ridiculous number to LA to prepare for the games. So we saw what happened in Brazil in 2016. Not a good look. Not a good look at all.
Right.
And Tokyo is getting ready for the next games where they're in construction now. I haven't heard any stories about, slave labor dying and running short of money, but Japan runs a pretty tight ship. So I feel like probably not going to be an issue.
And they got a sizable infrastructure for sports.
Baseball, soccer, all big sports there already.
I've heard this pitched before. I'd like to pitch it again. Dear IOC, the International Olympic Committee.
Yes.
For those who don't know. Dear IOC, can we just settle on like 5 cities that host this thing all the fucking time and then just be done with it? Because I am tired of hearing about Sochi.
Yes.
Like getting Olympic Games, spending $4 billion on stadiums they use once, and then...
Well, and then they get to the hotels, and the hotels aren't finished when the games are starting.
Right.
Or Brazil has the games, and there's a Listeria outbreak in the lake that they're supposed to be using.
Why I'm so happy about Los Angeles getting the games is that we already have all the stadiums.
Yeah.
We got Olympic Stadium. We got the Staples Center. We got the Rose Bowl. We got
We're going to have one new stadium.
The Inglewood Stadium
Yeah.
and the Clipper Stadium. You got the Forum. You can do all the beach events on
The beach?
the beach in Santa Monica / Venice.
Yeah.
If you needed to, you have the Dodger Stadium, you have the Honda Center, you have Anaheim, you have all these things. All these stadium and events are all like right in the area. Plus, Olympic Village is going to be taken care of at UCLA, which is already built to hold thousands upon thousands of people.
So instead of stuffing 4 undergrads in a room, they're going to put 2 Olympians in a room, and hey, it's all good.
Yeah.
But that's the best part about this is the $500 million or whatever the city of LA is getting for the games will literally just go to improve the lives of people who work here or live here. Like having the train line extend to LAX, which is super exciting.
What a wonderful turn of events. We can actually take the train to the airport.
Right. And so like it's crazy because, and by the way, the other part of the deal is usually if there's money left over from the Olympic loan that they give you, you have to give it back. But LA gets to keep whatever they don't spend. So they can make whatever improvements they want, and if there's money left over when the games start, you get to just keep the money for. It's amazing.
Though I will, I've sort of rationalized. I don't know if I've put this thought out into the universe yet, but I've said it to myself many times.
Okay.
LA is so lucky that they have so many people who are so rich.
Yes.
Because they are terrible at spending money.
They are.
They are the worst. They as far as much bang you get for your buck, I don't think it gets worse than LA.
No.
Like the amount of money that they have as like a tax base, and then how much they actually get out of that money is pathetic. But hopefully, because things won't have to change that much, you'll just have to put an Olympic logo on the side of the Staples Center that won't cost that much money.
No.
So that's my grand hope.
And we'll get some streets repaved. I feel like it'll be the better version of what the Baltimore Grand Prix was supposed to be.
I'm still. I guess I'm going to hold out judgment until closer to 2028.
Yeah, we'll see. Wow.
Whether or not I'm going to stay in town during the Olympics. But
no, here's my thing is, I hope that in 11 years, the games will open in about 11 years, a little less than 11 years from right now, because they're usually in August, which, by the way, it was like 100 degrees in August in LA. Good luck, Olympians. But I'm hoping that in 10 years that there is funds available to get like the VIP experience at the Olympic Games.
Yeah.
In the city that you live in. How amazing would that be? Like take the Tesla down to the Olympic Village, have the all-in pass where you can just walk wherever you want.
Yeah.
At the fucking Olympic Games in LA. It would be amazing. Amazing.
Yeah. One other just quick bit about that though.
Yeah.
We need to have rotating hosts.
Yes.
Just figure out the countries that are capable of hosting Olympic Games. Let them build stadiums that they use every 12 years or whatever.
Sure.
And just rotate.
Well, how about this?
Don't
LA
try
gets the games every 5 times.
When was the Athens Games? Like
2000.
or 2000?
Yep.
And then Greece goes bankrupt after spending hundreds of millions of dollars on billion dollars on stadiums.
Yeah.
Let's not go into this thing where we have to worry about whether or not Greece is going to go bankrupt because they host the Olympic Games. Let's just have like London and Tokyo and Los Angeles and Cairo. I guess like
you don't want.
Well, I'm just saying like what city in Africa could host an Olympic Games? Because you'd want to have it from every continent.
Johannesburg,
Maybe
South Africa.
Still a little dicey though.
As Cairo, I mean.
Well, yeah. I don't know.
Wait, listen. I mean, we're doing.
I'm just thinking about large cities in Africa that
we're doing a lot of nation building in Libya. Maybe Tripoli will be ready for an Olympic Games soon. But
just have it be like
Tokyo.
You have a list of 10 cities you can choose from.
Yeah.
And then just circulate between those. So you have Sydney and Tokyo Sydney, Tokyo, Beijing.
Okay. Beijing didn't do so well with theirs, but they can afford.
They can afford to have an Olympic Games. London, Paris.
Here's the thing.
Los Angeles.
London, Paris could be a joint games. You can get from London to Paris in like 40 minutes on the train.
And that's when Baltimore, Washington was trying to get into the Olympics.
Yeah.
That was their rationale. Like, listen, we don't really need to build new stadiums because between these two cities, which are only 30 miles apart, we got it. We're good.
What we need is to improve the connectors between the two.
Well, yeah, but
and that's what we'll use the money for.
Yeah, we're gonna get that Hyperloop in.
Well, they're building the train.
Yeah,
they're building the high-speed rail between Baltimore and
15 minutes or whatever.
Yeah, 15 minutes to Baltimore. We'll see. It'll drop you off right there in West Baltimore.
I'm still doing this thing like where I know that. So the Olympic Games are 2028, probably like 2025. I'm just gonna be like, all right, any day now with that Hyperloop. I know it's right around the corner, right, Elon Musk, and he's just like, oh, so.
You have doubt about that? I have a feeling that he's going to open. He's going to make a pitch to get the games
I don't have
here.
doubt in Elon Musk. I have doubt in like the state of California to allow him to do like. Because I feel like he'll come up with the plans and we'll just be like, all right, here it is. Perfectly formulated plans for how this thing is going to go 200 miles an hour. And it's just like, unfortunately, there's a statute in the California legislation that says nothing can go over 150 miles an hour.
Yeah.
So, sorry. He's just like, no, we've been discussing this. It's perfectly safe. It's underground. Yeah, sorry, no.
It just occurred
Can you just make it go 100 miles an hour instead? I mean, like, I'm sure people will be fine if their trip to San Francisco, which was supposed to take an hour, is now going to take 2 hours. But it's okay because you're still getting to San Francisco in 2 hours. It's like, no. You don't get it.
Here's what just occurred to me. The games were not awarded to the city of LA. The games are awarded to the United States. And inside the United States to the city of LA. What happens if in the next 11 years...
There's a Cal exit?
The Republic of California is formed and the Olympic Games are supposed to be here in LA.
Interesting thought.
Does LA keep the games and are they awarded to the brand... What a better way to debut the Republic of California than to have the Olympic Games in the Republic of California.
Cal exit. Cal exit in time for 2028. That's my whole thing.
We need to push for Cal Exit 2026. So just early enough that we get our shit together so it looks like we have a functioning democracy by the time 2028 rolls around. I'm pushing for it now. Cal Exit 2026. Let's get this thing done.
All right.
But yeah, so we're running a little long, but I want to talk about one thing really quick.
Okay.
A bit of a hot take because everybody's been talking about it this week. The guy in Starbucks in Chicago.
Okay.
We have to talk about it because it's been the topic of the week that hasn't been the things that we've talked about already. So... what are your thoughts? Did you see the video? Did you see the raw video that I posted?
Yeah, I saw the video.
Yeah.
I saw like the extended take too, where they're like sitting on his face for 20 minutes while they get a cop.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's terrible and it's stupid, and I don't think that it's really that much of a hot take that say that guy's an idiot.
Okay. So the argument that I got into consistently this week was he is a racist, but he has mental health problems.
Okay.
And I consistently came back to those people and said, no, he does not have mental health. Oh, okay, maybe he does. But we all have mental health problems. This is a guy who has now been empowered to say whatever pops in his mind. So,
but I'm just as a
devil's advocate
here. Yeah. If we saw the guy who was your Twitter feed incarnate.
By the way, we didn't talk about that guy. That guy was amazing.
I mean, if we were on the metro going to the game tomorrow, and we saw another guy like him come onto the subway, and he's wearing like a diaper on his head and clearly has some sort of mental health issues going on.
Sure.
And he starts going on about like the Negro is holding down everybody from being able to get to where they need to be in society, and the Negro is the one. Like, you would sit there and just go like, all right, well, this guy's clearly just out of it. And I'm not really going to hear him say something that I would normally like put in the racist category.
Right.
And say like, oh, he's definitely No, there seems to be something more at play here.
Yes.
But I'm not arguing that that's what's happening here. But I'm saying like, certainly I can understand where people are coming from. Whereas if they think that somebody has a mental problem...
Right.
They might say things that they don't necessarily mean.
And it certainly looks somewhat like a mental problem. But here was my argument. If I spilled my coffee on that guy, well, how does he react? Oh, listen, brother. Accidents happen. What are you going to do?
I don't
You want to make it up to me? Maybe you buy me a cup of coffee. How about that?
I think he would, number one, he was wearing a completely white suit.
Yeah.
So number one, maybe don't go to Starbucks. Maybe that's the worst place to be.
Yeah. But do you disagree? You don't think that it was the color of the skin of the person who spilled coffee on him?
I mean, I also heard tell that this guy was a problem customer all the time. So,
Right.
I mean, there's no... I think while there are certainly times where racist language and misogynist language and stuff like that feels like it's worse than other things.
Yeah.
Obviously, if as a white person you just shouted the N-word at somebody, that sounds a lot worse than if you just like scream like "you fucking jerk" at some other person.
Yeah.
There's levels and spectrums here.
There's levels to these bevels. Yes.
Right. But I'm saying that if this guy every single time he comes into Starbucks, yelled at somebody every single day,
Right.
which apparently is part of his MO. He would go into the Starbucks, be an asshole, harass people, and this is the time that it went racist.
Right.
Then I would say that maybe his problem isn't necessarily racism. It's just that he's an asshole.
Well, yes, and he probably is an asshole.
And I mean, like, again, I'm not trying to rationalize his actions at all either. But if I remember correctly from the video, wasn't most of it like biblical in nature, where he's just like, you are of, why are you standing on 2 legs instead of 4, you heathen horse or whatever?
They're your cattle.
Cattle.
Yeah. Which is a vague reference to chattel slavery.
Oh, got it.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what I missed.
Yeah. So I mean, listen, and that's the thing is, like,
I mean, it wasn't as if that one hit me, if I was black and that one hit me, I wouldn't necessarily think of it as like a racist thing right off.
But again,
because it's not as direct as.
And this is the thing, that there is a line of mental illness. There's the guy screaming on my Twitter feed come to life, who's screaming about socialism and how it's the best form of government. God, I really wish we would have recorded that. I was too afraid of I didn't want to get punched in the back of the head.
I got a little bit of it.
Yeah. But this guy is a guy who knows exactly what he's saying. He's not ranting. He is directing the comments. He knows what he's saying. He's putting it out there, and he's insulting somebody in a way that in some ways he doesn't know he's being insulted. And maybe the guy does. Maybe the person who received the insult did know. But I think his intent was to insult you in a way that I know that I'm insulting you and maybe you don't know. But that's because I'm better than you and I'm smarter than you. And because I'm white, it's better.
I mean, I really just think this guy's an asshole.
No, and yes, he is an asshole. But and the argument that people made to me was, oh, well, last year he took a picture with some Muslim people, and then he was defending a black person before. And I continue to say this. In 2016, there was an awakening amongst people where they said, before I've spent my whole life pretending to be someone I'm not. I can't be proud of being white, and I have to treat everybody like they're equal, even though I don't think that's true. And now those people are saying to themselves, I can do and say whatever I want. This is how I really feel. So yes, the guy's an asshole, but does he think he's better than black people? Absolutely. Does he hold these beliefs closely? I think so.
I'm not denying that. I understand what you're saying. I just feel
he's
like
got Pepe's all over his Facebook page.
Yeah.
There's no way he's not just fully alt-right racist.
Right. And I agree. I'm not trying to blur the lines here, but I'm also saying that this guy, at least from my take of him, doesn't seem like the guy who was going to get radicalized by other people doing it either.
No, he's not. That's the thing that people are missing. He has been radicalized all along. He has been radicalized.
Yeah.
But he hid his radicalism because he needs to operate in a world that is not radical. But because now he feels free to say whatever he wants, it's not that he's become radicalized. It's now I can say whatever I want to whoever I want because it's my country again. So Flash just jumped in here on the comments. Make sure you join us. Next week we'll be at youtube.com/ODAnthem, but you can always find the video on Facebook and elsewhere. Flash says, there was also a gamer who said the N-word on his stream, and people are defending him because he said it was in the heat of the moment. Yes, PewDiePie, once again back in the news with his racist shit. If you remember a year ago, probably or so now, he got banned off of YouTube because he had some people hold out racist banners and a Nazi flag and a whole bunch of stuff. And people said, oh, it was just a funny joke. He was just kidding. And he didn't realize how far it would go. And then he drops the N-bomb on a stream. And his apology is, sometimes I get caught up in the heat of the moment and I don't realize that I'm live streaming. Which means this is the shit you say when you're not live streaming.
Yeah.
And by the way, the whole PewDiePie situation has affected YouTube streamers as a whole, because now advertisers are very squeamish about who it is that their ads are rolling in front of, and it has impacted the livelihoods of thousands of people. And yes, Flash, he is being defended by people saying, oh, it was the heat of the moment and he didn't know what he was saying, but that heat of the moment comment means that that's what he says when the camera's not running.
I think that I feel like everything that happened to the guy in Chicago was the right way to handle it.
Okay.
You know, like everybody like trying to stop the fighting and break it up, and then, you know, as it becomes more and more heated, they take him down and stuff like that.
No, they didn't take him down when it got heated. They took him down when he punched a homeless guy with mental health issues who was asking him for change.
Yeah, that's right. And then he started running away, and they all tackled him and brought him down. Yeah,
but you know what would have stopped that innocent person from being punched in the face? If the jerk white guy had gotten out of the way when he spit on a black dude and just let the black dude whip his fucking ass in the street. Just let him get beat down, and then the innocent person doesn't get injured. But no, that white dude in the middle of the street holding everybody apart is Corey, who thinks, oh, no. I know he's a Nazi, and I know he's a racist, and I know he said some things. I know he spit on you, but we need to talk about this, talk it out. And then innocent people get hurt. Instead of doing what Rob says, which is punch fucking Nazis. When racists come out and they show you that they're racist, punch them in the face so that innocent people don't get injured. Because, by the way, that homeless guy was hospitalized.
Okay.
So we could have helped that innocent person from being injured if
by
we would have
preemptively punching the guy in the white suit in the face.
He had been shouting stuff for 20 minutes and he had spit on somebody. He has made it clear where he stands. He is a Nazi and he's a racist and he needs to be taken down a peg. And there was a man there willing to do it.
Listen.
And a Corey, who now that's what I'm going to start calling these people. These sympathizers are Corys, was in the street trying to keep the peace instead of letting someone handle business. And if you don't have the heart to handle business yourself, get the fuck out of the way and let the people who are willing to do it, do it.
Can I go now?
Go ahead.
All right. By the way, do we have another comment there?
Mm-hmm. Flash says, I've called Peach a lot of things while playing Mario Kart, but a racial slur has never popped up.
As far as the, I maintain that my entire thing is nonviolence.
Sure.
If somebody is clear, this guy was never clearly going to knock the lights out of a homeless person. I didn't see that coming until it happened.
Right.
And then as soon as it did happen, people got involved to stop him from doing anything and getting away.
Right.
Everything that happened is the way that I would have liked to see things happen, except for the guy getting punched out.
Yeah.
But you can't predict that's going to happen. You can't say that this guy who's acting irrationally is going to punch out a homeless guy when he walks away from here, and therefore I should take him down with extreme prejudice now because he might do that. I mean, like, there's a certain amount of listen, as much as it sucks, there's a certain amount of you have to let the crime happen before you try and arrest somebody for it.
Have you heard the parable about the
I mean, how would you feel if police came crashing in here?
Yeah.
And they put me in cuffs and they started dragging me out of here, and then you were like, whoa. Lawyer Rob came out and you're just like, whoa, what's this all about? It's just like, well, Rob or Corey was about to murder somebody.
Yeah.
It's like, well, what kind of proof do you have of that? It's like, well, we know. It's like, okay, how? How do you know he was going to murder before he did it? Don't you have to? Doesn't he have to do it before you can charge him with the murder? Like, just stick with the realism of, like, somebody has to commit a crime before we can.
Right. You're talking about the police, and I'm talking about people
right,
standing
but I'm
in
saying,
the street
I'm
and
saying
handling it themselves.
I'm saying reasonably that if the guy who got spit on knocked him out, then we could make some sort of rational argument about he was trying to defend himself and he didn't know where this was
I wouldn't
gonna
make that
go.
argument at all. But I guarantee you, there wouldn't be a fucking person on that street who saw him or knew anything about him.
Sure, fine.
Because he knocks out the racist and then disappears into the crowd, and everybody's like, "Oh man, I don't know what happened. He must have tripped and fell. He hit his eye on the curb." Like that's it.
Yeah.
Because he gets what he deserves. We keep an innocent person from getting injured, and if there are consequences, you have to be willing to live with the consequences. I guarantee you that guy was willing to do it.
I feel like this I don't feel like this incident was all that huge of a deal.
No.
Do you?
It is it's.
I mean, like how, like I've lived in large American cities pretty much my whole life.
Yeah.
And this things like this don't seem that unusual to me.
Things like this, like a guy shouting racial slurs and punching out someone,
think
person
about
of color.
Think about it like this. I've seen people get knocked out on the street before. I've seen people yelling horrible things, not necessarily racist, but horrible things from the street into businesses before.
Yeah.
I've seen arguments. I've seen all these things. This situation doesn't feel that much different than other incidents like this. And the guy himself in this video makes me sick.
Yeah.
But I still don't get why this feels like the big rallying moment that, like,
it's not a big rallying moment, but there are moments like these.
I mean, like we're not going to talk about this guy in terms of like this was the moment where it all changed.
No.
I mean, he's not to use a terrible example, Rosa Parks of this. Like, right. He's not the one inciting incident that sticks out amongst the rest.
No, but he's a boil. He's a boil on the skin.
Mm-hmm.
It could be an incidental that, boils happen, or it could be a sign that you have an autoimmune disease that is ravaging your insides and is going to lead to your death.
Okay.
You are taking the tack that all of these little boils that keep popping up are just incidental and they happen.
No.
And I am taking the tack that these are a symptom of a disease that is ravaging the system and it needs to be lanced. All of them.
I'm saying this guy is got his name out there within seconds.
Yeah, and he left his phone number on Facebook. That was smart, brah.
I think that the society will take care of him and eliminate him from.
And my only point is that society was ready to take care of him.
This guy basically is a poor man's John Lee Dumas. He's just acting like he's a big shot, and
society was ready to take care of him right on the street, and a Corey got in the way.
No.
Corey got in the way and an innocent person got hurt. And your continuing argument is we need to let them do bad things to innocent people and then we can do something about them.
You can't arrest people prior to.
I'm not talking about arrest. You keep talking about arrest. I'm talking about the people doing something about this disease that is ravaging our republic.
Again, I don't want to get into this thing again because we did that plenty before.
And this is another. It keeps happening.
You can't just. Assaulting people before they have the opportunity to do anything wrong is not the way of handling something.
He shouted racist stuff. He spit on someone, and then he escalated it and punched an innocent person of color.
If as soon as he spit on the guy, the guy wanted to knock him out, I'm fine with that at that point.
Right.
I'm wiping my hands of this situation.
No, you're not. You hold on to the guy's hands and let the racist guy punch him in the face a couple of times.
No.
Before some stranger has to come and pull him off.
If I see somebody get spit on and then the spitter gets punched in the face, I say, well, that's what you get. That's what you deserve.
Yeah,
that's where I come from. If all of a sudden some guy is just walking down the street screaming out racial epithets and then you punch him in the face and knock him out, I'm not going to be like, well, great, thank you for handling that issue. I'm going to say, what the fuck do you just knock that guy out for?
You don't have to. You don't have to. Because when that guy gets knocked out, the likelihood that he rolls down the street screaming racial epithets again goes down. And if he does it and someone else knocks him the fuck out, then it goes down even more.
So an eye for an eye.
There would eye for an eye.
You're
No.
punching him in the face
Yes.
and making up for the horrible things that he said.
Yes.
So you think that the way to solve punishment is by punishment ahead of time.
I am saying
the way to keep people from doing drugs is by killing them before they have a chance to. I'm just going to Philippines logic here.
You consistently do this. No, you consistently make these metaphors that are supposed to be equal, and they're not. They're not. It's not a simple metaphor. No. My point is,
legally speaking,
I don't care about legal.
Hold on,
I don't care about
legally speaking, am I allowed to go out in the middle of the street and scream whatever the fuck I want?
No.
No matter how horrible or racist it is.
No.
No?
No, you can't go out in the middle of the street. It's not.
Well, I mean, if I'm on the sidewalk.
Let's say you go to a First Amendment approved area.
Yeah.
Yes, you can scream whatever you want.
Right. Because I have the right of free speech.
Well, you won't be molested by the government.
Right.
But that doesn't protect you from a reaction or counter-reaction from other citizens.
Right. But I'm saying if somebody came up to me and punched me in the face while I was doing that.
Right.
Then technically I could press charges against the guy who punched me for assault.
True. Yes.
And then the only person who gets in trouble in this situation is the person who punched me.
Maybe. Because there is an argument that you can make a defense that the person incited the violence against them.
I'm done with this.
Right. It's because it's a complex issue.
No, because
you are okay with festering racism in America.
I'm
that
not.
Is fine.
I'm not.
Then you don't want to do the hard things to address it, and that's fine. You don't have to.
I'm fine with this kid getting arrested. I'm fine with this kid's life being ruined by the things that he says and caught on camera. I'm just not fine with punching him out before he does anything.
Right.
Because you can't foresee that is going to happen.
Yes, you can.
No,
I can
you
foresee
can't.
that Chris Cantrell is going to do something violent in the future.
This is the entire plot of Minority Report. You can't foresee this to happen.
No, because the plot of Minority Report is about the government going in and doing pre-crime. I am talking about, I see you, I know who you are, I know 1,000 people just like you, and I know that this is going to escalate. So I, as a citizen, am going to address...
So for words he said, you were going to punch him out before he has the opportunity to do something, whether or not he was going to do it.
Yes, because I'm going to make the likelihood that he does something in the future less by doing that.
And just turn this down.
And now I'm being silenced. Being silenced! That's right. Always silenced, because the truth is always silenced.
All right, you're back on.
All right.
You're just in the penalty box for a minute.
Yeah, see? When you speak the truth to power, they put you in the penalty box. This is what white men do.
You know where you can feel the truth?
Where's that?
OhTheAnthem.com, Corey at OhTheAnthem.com, OhTheAnthem on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and the listener line, 443-219-7595.
What's that number again?
443-219-7595.
And make sure you send in your reactions to Corey's and our discussion. And you can do that at the listener line, or you can email Corey at OhTheAnthem.com.
Can't wait.
You can find me at Robert N. Cheek on all your social networks. Make sure you check out robertncheek.com, where you can find links to my political blog, foundingthefuture.us, my news website, and the books, which are available on Amazon.
Buy Rod's books.
And of course, I'm over the next few weeks going to be listening back to all the old episodes, so make sure you listen along with us using hashtag OTA Flashback on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. We'll listen along together. As I said, I'm on episode 6, so catch up to me, and then over the next few weeks, we'll be listening to all the old episodes. You can hear classics like Corey's moan at the end of episode 4 and him being a climate denier at the end of episode 6.
I think now I have to listen back to make sure that I'm not getting the raw deal here.
He denies climate change, just so that's clear. Yeah.
Anyway, I think half of us have done something good here today.
We've done something. I don't know if it's good. But as always, you're listening to the The Anthem podcast, part of the The Anthem digital network. For Corey, this is Rob. Have a great week, everybody.
I thought you were going to do something bad. That's why I did that.
You better turn that off.